Welcome to this week's Q&A. We've got a great question from one of our viewers in Hong Kong this week. And this guy's asked us, look, I've been speaking to friends and I'm thinking of moving back to Sydney in the next year or so, perhaps even 2 years. And the advice I've been getting from my friends is that I would be better off buying something that I'm going to move into when I get there, rather than waiting until I arrive in Sydney and looking for something then. Now, great question, and we've got a lot of our Australian expat clients around the world who are in the process of or thinking about repatriating. This happens all the time because other Australians living at home in Oz are moving overseas. And look, there are many things you need to consider, and I mean, this person's the same. He's got a property in another state in Melbourne, and he thinks he wants to live in Sydney, and so he would have to sell that currently to buy this property in Sydney that he may live in the future. Now, lots of things to consider there again, as I've covered off before, but one of the ones is that if this Aussie expat sells that property, then he won't get the benefit of the 50% capital gains tax discount that he would receive if he sold that property when he was living in Australia again. So, fairly sizable consideration to take into account, because, the property is worth over $3 million. He's had it for a long time, and there's a significant capital gain involved. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, I still think it's really important to recognise the fact that tastes change over time, and I still believe it's probably a great idea to at least spend 6 to 12 months living in the new city of choice that you have, perhaps a suburb of choice, and making sure that it ticks all those boxes that you think it's going to. And the longer people stay away, perhaps the more those perceived benefits may change for them. So I think it's best to maintain as much flexibility as possible, and that's the reason I would suggest to our clients certainly that it may be better not to sell something now, just to ensure that you have potentially the right property to move into when you eventually do return to Australia. That's 1 year or 2 years, or maybe longer. So too many factors to consider there, and I think you're better off keep the flexibility, push out any potential capital gains tax problem that you don't actually need to incur, and don't buy this peace of mind with paying a lot of money, because it's going to be a very expensive exercise that potentially doesn't really give you a great deal of benefit. So look, if you find this of interest, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click like. And if you find yourself in a similar situation, don't hesitate to reach out, email us or call us, and we'll have somebody contact you and see if we can't help you with your own personal set of circumstances. I'll see you at next week's Q&A. I'm Andrew Unterweger.